Hey y'all, it's your girl Fariso Jordan, and you are watching We Need to Talk, and we have so much to talk about today, okay? Because starting off with the fact that my boo, my babe, my co-host Zerin is not here with us today, and that is because I am on a trip visiting back home to my hometown of Houston, Texas. That's right, Houston, Texas, home of the Houston Astros, home of the Houston Rockets, home of Beyonce, home of Meg Thee Stallion, home of Destiny's Child, home of Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite things about visiting home is turning on the radio in your car and listening to chopped and screwed music. You can't get that anywhere else.
OG stand up, crumbs to bricks, nigga. I come from nothing.
Sorry y'all, my bad. You know what? Sometimes you just hear the music and you just have to go with it. And so that's kind of what happened, and in a lot of ways, that's like a metaphor for my life. So don't worry, I am back here for now. I can't promise that won't happen again, but if it does, sorry not sorry. Where did we leave off? Right. So I'm here in Houston, and so we thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to let you guys know more about me and where I come from, not only through me, but from some of the people who know me best. That's my dad, getting to know me through my people.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes. Do you see what I have to live with?
I'll let you know I've been paid to say nice things.
One of my sisters and my best friend.
Like, girl, you remember when he did this?
Yeah.
And
I don't
this,
do that.
and
But I don't do that though. I don't bring up stuff that happened. But before we get to them, because who knows what they're gonna say about me, got a couple of wild cards in that deck I just mentioned. I want you to hear about me from me first and foremost. As you know, my name is Fariso, and Fariso means one who brings joy. And I just love my name, and I'm so thankful for it. And I believe that words are powerful, because I do feel like I was kind of born with like a natural gift of just being happy. And my name is something that I take seriously in terms of what do I consider my purpose here on this earth, which is definitely to be an encourager of others. So I care about the condition of the world in a very serious way. More specifically, I care about the condition of Black people. I care about the condition of women. I care about the condition of girls and young people, not just in this country, but around the world. And the way that I express that concern is not only through my personal values, but also the work that I do. The work that I create in this world is very tied to who I am as a person and what I believe in. And I believe in freedom. And I would say freedom as a person and freedom and equality in this world. More specifically, freedom is like my number one value, and it's something that I pursue hardcore in my personal life, and I consider it my mission to help to bring freedom to others, whatever that may mean in different ways. So the way in which I really pursue my care for the world and my desire to see a more free and just world is through my acting and my writing. I have been acting and writing since I was a little girl. I started going to acting tournaments in the 6th grade and realizing like, oh, I'm winning first place, and I keep winning first place, so I guess I'm good at this, and I really enjoy it. And then as far as writing, I've been doing that forever, since you know, I've been writing since I could put words together. It started off as poems, and then it turned into stories, and now it's plays and films and shows. And what's really interesting, I think when people think of me, they think of me as an actor actor, but I think even more important and first and foremost, I'm a writer before I'm anything else, because really being able to create stories that we want to be told in the world, stories from my perspective, a Black woman's perspective, is really powerful stuff. And so being a writer is first and foremost to me, and it also opens up like my artistry to other opportunities.
The challenge, so we had to do a lot of team building. Success. And I want to leave out failure.
Rape victims themselves, I mean, statistics show that only 27% of women who were raped actually think of themselves as being raped. And even what's more is that 1 in 12 men admit to behavior that is classified as rape, but none of them think of themselves as being rape victims.
Alternative Pharmacy Services. How may I help you? We're gonna start with a little icebreaker where it's called like it's a word association game where we're gonna give like prompts, and then you have to name one of your 6 kids. You have to name one of the kids.
What if it's NA?
What if there's no NA? Brilliant.
Niso Sakai.
He can do whatever he wants. Okay, that was 2 kids, by the way. Niso Sakai, he put them together. Athletic.
Thai.
Fun. Stop
Thai.
thinking.
Tall.
Tall. Seiko.
Dang.
Witty. Funny.
TJ.
Funny.
TJ.
Jokes.
Sabina. Sakai.
Favorite.
Shamiso Sakai. Miso. TJ's. Thai. Seiko. Do I have all of these things?
No.
I will not answer that question.
You already answered it. Okay. Most like you. Most like you.
I'm thinking Sakai.
Aw, looks most like you.
Thai. And Sakai. That's what people say.
Most
Sakai.
most like mommy.
Sabina.
It's Mother's Day today in Houston, Texas. Yeah! Okay, that was corny. I know what Zerin's thinking. Zerin's thinking like, oh my God, she's so corny. But I'm not corny. Let him know in the comment. Anyways, it's Mother's Day. When you're watching this, it is not going to be Mother's Day. But either way, regardless, I hope that if you are a mother, that you are feeling so loved and so appreciated and so celebrated, not just on Mother's Day, but every day, because being a mother is literally the hardest job.
I know. It's okay. I know. Tell me what's wrong.
And the most important job on this planet. In Zimbabwean culture, we take the role of auntie and uncle very seriously. So much so that we don't even have a word in Shona for the word auntie or uncle. So for me, so I have 2 older sisters and I have 2 nieces. So my nieces call me Amainini, and what that is translated is, so Amainini is translated into little mother, little mommy. That's what it means. And so yeah, we take these roles very seriously, and that's a big reason why I'm here in Texas right now, is to spend some time with my newborn niece. I have a 4-year-old niece and then a 3-month-old niece who is just born, and this is actually, I'm in her nursery right now, and this is my first time in her nursery, and it is so dope. It is so decked out. It is just full of Black girl inspiration, Black girl magic. Shout out to my sister, because I wish that this was my room. I'll show you a little bit of my favorite parts of this place later. So back to Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a really hard day for me, filled with a lot of different complicated emotions, because I actually lost my mom in 2015. We lost her very unexpectedly. So Mother's Day is just like a roller coaster of emotions, of, you know, sadness, and then also joy in remembering my mom, because, you know, whether on earth or not, either way, she deserves to be celebrated. And because she was like the main force in shaping me into the woman who I am today. So, and getting to know me, I'll tell you a little bit about my mother. The main thing that she taught me, both in her life and through her passing on, is just the spirit of living life fearlessly and passionately. And so one of the best things I remember about my mom is just like how happy she was when I was happy. In fact, in my very last conversation with her, she told me, and I didn't know it was gonna be my last conversation, and I don't think she knew it was gonna be her last conversation with me either, but her very last conversation with me, she told me that when I find someone who makes my heart go like this, follow that. And if it doesn't work out, then so what? So that is a memory that I hold dear, and I try to really live not just my romantic life, but I try to apply that to all aspects of life. If anything arises and I feel it in my spirit, I feel it in my soul, I feel it in my heart, then I'm going to pursue that thing. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. At least I will have lived a life of no regrets and doing something that I felt was right. So that's definitely how I choose to live my life. The spirit of fearlessness, like she instilled in us to like really like just to be like courageous. Like if she ever sensed that like me or one of her 6 kids were being like timid about something, she would just be like, oh, are you my child or what? Like that was always like, she would just say that in frustration because she was so, you know, bold and courageous and just like such a powerful woman, that it was like when she saw that her kid was like scared, she'd be like, are you my, like, did you come out of my body? So I try to remember that as well. And also through her passing, you know, it put inside of me like this really powerful feeling of like, I'm going to enjoy my life because life is short. Houston, where we were in an all-black neighborhood, to a suburb of Houston called Spring, Texas, which is predominantly white. And I have a story to tell you about that. I will never forget, it was me and my mom. We were sitting in her white Hyundai, and she was like, in this new neighborhood, I don't think that they're gonna be able to pronounce your name Fariso. So why don't you start going by Jordan, which is also my dad's name. And I was like, I don't wanna go by Jordan. Jordan is a boy's name. And my mom was like, I'll give you $50. And I was like, okay, girl. To this day, I don't know if she ever even gave me that $50, but that is the story of how I started going by Jordan all the way from 3rd grade until college, when I moved to New York. And I was like, wait, no, I'm gonna go by Fariso. I don't care if it's hard for people to say. People say names like European names like Stanislavski and that are supposedly hard, but they learn them. So I think it's important to me, A, because it's my name, A, because I love the meaning behind it, and because it's African, for people to know how to say these names. And so if you meet me, one of the worst things you can say to me is, do you have a nickname? No. Like, until you can get like Fariso right, you will not be calling me any nicknames.
Hi! Hey y'all, I'm Sakai Farai, the elder sister, but not the eldest of Fariso Jordan.
Hey, where's the eldest sister?
She wasn't invited.
Well, thanks for being here today.
We're dialing in from Hot Girl Headquarters, Houston, Texas, and home of Sakai Farai and Fariso Jordan.
Yes, greatness follows us.
So I'm so happy that you are here with us today, sister.
I was conscripted into service. I'm not here by choice.
You know, she's not. She did not really want to do this, but because I'm her favorite sister, she agreed to it. Right? I'm your favorite sister?
The position is open right now. I'm accepting applications.
Okay, so we need to talk. What are we talking about today?
Whatever comes to mind, let's let it flow.
Okay, so I would say, if I'm not your favorite sister, who is? And what do you mean by the spot is open?
It means I don't have a sister that meets my standards at this moment.
What are your sister's standards at this
Well,
moment?
let's talk about where you fall short.
What? I don't fall short.
Look, I'm on camera. I hate being on camera.
She does, but isn't she so beautiful?
I don't like a sister that likes me to do things I don't like.
So, okay, this is my beautiful sister. This is the middle sister, the second oldest of 6. She has a little bit of middle child syndrome from time to time, but we still love her for it. Right?
You love me?
So she
Love
is one of the
Love
most brilliant minds that I've ever met. This has been my first time in her house, and her house is just full of like so much like just inspiration and books and knowledge. And I'm like, oh my god, that's why she's so smart. So I might be stealing some of her books so that I can develop my mind. I remember when I was little, she used to like give me books to read.
And she never read them.
I tried to, but it was like they were so like just. They were a lot, like what Ishmael. It was just a lot. She gave it to me when I was like 10.
I still want her to read that book.
Yeah, I still haven't read it to this day, but she definitely used to like try to give me like books to, I guess, develop my mind. And she is one of the greatest thinkers of our time. Right now, she works as an anthropologist. She specializes in ethics.
Shout out to social science.
Social science. She specializes in ethics research. Would you say? And is that introduce yourself?
I will introduce myself. So I'm Sakai Farai, America's anthropologist, and I use cultural insights to help businesses and organizations develop ethical products and services. I do this by talking to people about their life, asking them about their life, and again, observing them in the daily context of their life.
And so what's really cool is that she does that, and she has her own business doing it.
That's how we afford this glamorous lifestyle.
Yeah, so
Don't mind the broken fence behind us.
yes, sister is super dope. I won't say get my dopeness from her, but I will say dopeness runs in our family. But I would just say that it's super cool to see her balancing, growing her business. It's like boomed over the last couple of years. And then on top of that, working another full-time job, and then all of her other contract work, and then being a new mom. I would just say it's so sweet to see you growing up, little sister. She's really my big sister, but I'm
a big
taller.
sister, but you see how patronizing she is.
But even like, and also like, seeing with her growing in her business, like another way that entrepreneurship and that kind of thing runs in our family, and with her doing that, like it helps all of us, because for me as an actor, as a writer, and then I also do freelance work, so I'm able to like take on jobs with her where I'm able to develop really cool skills, research skills, which is also people skills. I'm able to add those to my resume. And also the jobs that I do with her pay significantly. So sis, when's my next gig that you have for me? Because she hasn't given me one in a few months.
It's
and
coming.
you know what?
It's coming.
Okay.
I'll say I was really surprised in working my first job with her, like the level of professionalism that she brought to bear on the work. It was a little annoying even though. Also, like, she was just like, excuse me, I should have had this, I need this, when am I getting this? Come on, let's get it together. So she definitely brings a high standard to work, which I knew when it came to like acting and filmmaking, but surprised that it was like across the board. A little annoyed that it was across the board.
And it was, okay, so how would you describe our sister relationship?
Of all of the relationships between the sisters is strong. Like, there's a foundation, I think, of trust, camaraderie, and playfulness. I would say playfulness dictates a lot of my interaction with her in the sistership, which is to say that like I can be, you know, just full on myself, which is inappropriate and goofy and laughing. So there's a lot of laughter when we're together.
Like really bad happens when I can get insight on anything. So I would say she's probably the sibling who knows me the best. But also I don't like, she like keeps track on everyone. So she might have that same relationship with every single, she like knows where every single person is in the family, what they're doing, how their day went. She likes to keep track.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
For a small fee, I'll stop your sibling too.
What have I taught you from you observing my relationship?
You mean, what have I learned?
No, I mean, what have I taught her? What have I taught you?
You see how she is? But okay, so a number of things, first of all, because who she is in a relationship, what she brings to a relationship is like a high level of respect for herself and her partner across the board. Like, the way she respects him when they're together is how she respects him and represents him across the family. And so that creates naturally boundaries. But I'd say one of the things that I think is really important about what you bring and how you maneuver in a relationship is that you bring a level of trust, vulnerability, and I would say you apply a level of dignity to your partner that is really impressive to see. And it's just a testament to the fact that, like, you don't date losers, because it would be difficult to pretend to have that much respect, or to ask us to apply an appropriate level of respect to someone who was not worthy of that level of respect.
Aww.
So I'd say that you've taught that in selecting your partner, to make sure that they are someone that you can ask your family to respect, and that's been consistent about her.
Why, thank you.
Shut up. I feel like that's enough.
Okay, so what has most surprised you about my life? Because, I mean, you knew me since I was like a little girl, right?
I know.
She probably had a vision for me that totally went off course, right?
My goodness. This was supposed to be America's junior anthropologist. And look at her.
I still am.
She's America's sweetheart. America's actress.
I'm an anthropologist a little bit when I do jobs with you.
She's an acting anthropologist. And I've been surprised by the consistency of your passions and the election in your work. So, like, it's one thing to be like an actress and to take that seriously as a child, as a middle schooler, high schooler, college student, but to see the intensity and the professionalism that you've applied to your career since you were like 9, and to watch it be consistent over the decades, that's impressive. I expected that you would have these moments where you would stray from your core mission, but it's a clear testament to the fact that, like, what you do in your career, your acting, your edification around acting and your storytelling is a mission, and you haven't strayed from the mission, so that's impressive.
Kiss me. Okay, any final words? Oh, now you have it all over your face too.
Shut. I want to give a shout out to the Palestinian people. Let them know that Black people everywhere stand with you and support of you. I want to shout out to Black people, shout out to every oppressed group, shout out to Asian people, shout out to poor people. I just want to make sure that everything we do in this world is to make sure that we are consolidating our power against the complicity of the powerful. Like, make sure that we're using everything that we have to fight the power. Like, fight the power, fuck the police, for real.
Hallelujah. Don't mind if I do. Every time I come to the pharmacy, I take a little something for myself. So this right here is my stash. Just kidding, don't eat it. Okay, moving on. So, can you tell us where we are right now?
We are in Houston, Texas, on Veterans Avenue, right across the cemetery, I might add, at MAPS RX. That stands for Metropolis Alternative Pharmacy Services.
Wow, that has like my name in the title.
There you go.
So, can you tell us what MAPS Pharmacy is?
Basically, it's a retail pharmacy. What CVS or Walgreens can do, we do. But we also do a bit of compounding, which is where we actually make creams, compounds, capsules, suppositories. We also deliver medications to patients within a certain mile radius, but we mail all over the country, states that we license to mail.
Cool. Yes, nationwide. So if you have prescriptions, send it over to MapsRx. We'll put the information down there for you to contact us. Okay.
So, can you know what? I was surprised. I found out a little bit ago that like I think it was you, like one of like our family was like the first. So we're from Zimbabwe, which you might know already, but we're from Zimbabwe, and our family was like the first family after we got our independence in Zimbabwe to like own a business out there. Is that true?
Well, my father was one of the first few Africans to actually own property in Zimbabwe under the apathetic rules of the white government protected, supported government of Ian Smith. So this was actually before independence.
Oh, this was before.
Before independence.
Very cool. So when you say like the one of the first, like in where?
In Zimbabwe.
Cool. And what was the business?
Well, he had several businesses. He had a fish and chips. He had a grocery store. He had apartments and some other international stuff that he did across the world.
So I thought that was cool when I learned about that, because that helped me to know myself better as far as like entrepreneurship and it running through our blood. It was like, well, why am I like this? And I'm like, oh, that's why I'm like this, because we've been doing this for a generation.
What was your father's role in the Zimbabwean independence movement?
Well, my father was a businessman. He was not officially a politician like those that represented the politics of the day to the world. He was more of a financial backer. He had money, so he supported. But given all his support towards the freedom struggle of the early 60s, he was actually slated to be arrested at the same time that the leaders like Joshua Nkomo, Robert Mugabe, James G. Kerriman, and all those were supposed to be arrested. He was able to sneak out of the country to Zambia. We snuck out about 2 or 3 months later. Everything he owned was taken. It was taken by the government. So when he moved to Zambia, he started from scratch with nothing. But he was able to generate some wealth and still continue to be a political supporter for the freedom struggle. In fact, one of his houses in Lusaka was the headquarters of one of the liberation struggle movements called Fariso.
Okay, so we got some history lessons, some business talk. So now let's talk about me, because this episode is about getting to know me through my people.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes. Do you see what I have to live with?
I'll let you know I've been paid to say nice things.
What is one of your, I don't know, what is one of the earliest memories that you have of me as a child? Like, what was I like, I guess?
You were driven and very gregarious. You were always happy.
I was always happy. Oh, my name is one who brings joy. So naming, Daddy, do you know my full name? Can you say it?
No. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't want to try, but it's several names.
Why did you guys give me so many names?
We'll have to ask your mother that question. I kind of laid off the naming. Just as I knew the last name was correct, and I knew at least 2 first names, like Sabina, Fariso, Jordan, Portia.
Yeah, so Sabina is my Mbuya, my dad's mom's name.
My mother.
How did we get Portia?
I don't know. Maybe
okay.
trying to buy a Porsche for my birthday or something.
Well, I never mind.
But Porsche is a nice name.
That's a life goal. So is there anything throughout my life that has surprised you about me? What are you surprised by knowing me?
No surprises. You've pretty much had a regular trajectory from elementary school to middle school, high school, college, and now you're doing your thing. And you have stuck with your desire of acting. And I think, let me take that back. I think one of the most amazing things is your Georgia play.
Aw, thank you.
You know, who gets to be able to do a one-man play, or should I say a one-woman play, not just in New York, but basically around the country, because you did it in Houston. You also did a few other cities, I believe, in the United States. But not only that, you took the show to India.
Yes.
I remember all this.
Yes. And so one of my favorite things about you is that even though he might not always agree with what I do, he'll always still be supportive. Because even when I decided to go to India, he was like, I forbid you to go. And then I like stated my case. I made my case about why it was going to make sense. And then he was still like super supportive, so much so that I actually missed my flight to India. I did. You remember that?
Yes.
I missed my flight to India.
I hope she's not trying to blame me for that.
No, I'm not trying to blame him. No, I missed my flight. And then they wanted to charge me just to redo it. They wanted to charge me more than the original flight. And guess what? It was paying for me to go to India, even though he didn't like agree with the decision. And I was there. And I was fine. Look, I'm still alive. Yay! So where should I go next out the country?
Not India.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, not right now.
What's your big wish for Fariso?
I'm waiting for Sabina, Fariso, Jordan, Portia, Star, Massage to get that big break.
Yes.
Where she goes in the movie. I mean, frequently, when I look even at some of the TV commercials, my daughter would be 10 times better in that role. Well, look at some of these big time movie actresses. I know all she needs is somebody to give her that chance and to open that door.
Yay.
So you guys, if you're listening, tell somebody. And I haven't finished.
Oh.
And I'm also waiting for, a marriage coming down the pipe. I need some more grandchildren. I'm at an age I need grandchildren. The boys are way behind.
Oh, I was gonna ask you relationship advice, so I guess that's the relationship advice.
Yes. Pick a good man. You're not gonna find a perfect man. The best thing you can do for your children and your marriage is getting somebody you get along with. That's the key. Mm-hmm. Because if it's not, you're gonna have a lot of issues on agreeing on the basic, simple things. So the advice I can give to my children and everybody: if you're gonna get married, if you're gonna choose a man, make sure it's a man you agree with.
This is the exact same playground equipment that I used to play on as a little girl. I know it's not meant for adults, but what's the worst that could happen?
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is my best friend, Katie.
Hello.
And so we have been friends for over 2 decades. How have we managed that? So we called up the Queen Latifah show, and then did we
hung up on her
because then we realized, oh,
in the middle of our
it's not
story.
gonna work.
Yeah, that doesn't work. We are different races.
She's white and I'm black,
and we have been most of our lives.
And I think I think people are surprised when are your friends surprised when they know that your best friend's black? Or yeah.
No, because I come from a very, I feel like, culturally diverse family.
Yeah,
I have a Hispanic child. I have African American nieces and nephews, and I come from just a more culturally diverse family that I don't feel like it's surprising because I'm always with people of other races.
I feel like people are surprised about me because everything I do is like black on black on black on black.
And it should be, because you're advocating for something that you're passionate about, but that doesn't mean that you're doing it with hate towards anybody else.
Yeah. But I think just with all of our differences, Katie and I have and will always, if anything happens, will be the first one to jump on a plane to do what needs to be done for the other one.
Absolutely.
And we've done that over
even when we wholeheartedly disagree with the other one.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so I remember I wanted to ask you. So how has our friendship impacted our relationships? How would you say?
I feel like I have a deeper understanding of what's going on in society, because I know there's so many times that I'll call you about something that goes on and you're like, Kate, what did you just say? Like, I can't believe that you, and I just don't, I think of it from how I grew up, from my perspective, and perception is reality, right? So I see the world from a different perspective than you do. And And so, a very different perspective. Yeah. So sometimes it's just having that other person there to ground you and say, okay, but you're thinking of it wrong, you know? And I feel like because of that, I'm able to go into other situations with an open mind. Yeah. Of course, because race, whether it exists or not, I mean, racism exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And we do live, especially in 2021, with everything that's been going on in the world this past decade, even, but especially the last couple of years. It's just important that we take the time, and just because I didn't experience anything, or just because I haven't been through anything, doesn't mean that I should have my blinders up to people that have experienced this. Yeah. You know, it's all about listening. Let's play a game. Layla, you want to help us play a game?
Yes, okay. So my name is Layla, and I'm Mama Jordan's real best friend.
Hi.
And that's my mom.
We're really best friends.
Yeah.
I'm her godmother.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be asking some questions for their truth or... What is
Truth or drink.
That, yeah. Okay, thank you. When's the last time, have y'all ever wanted to like end y'all's friendship with the other person over an argument?
No.
Oh, shoot.
I just hadn't had a drink yet. No. No, definitely not.
I've never wanted to end it.
There's been times that we've needed a break.
Yeah. There's been times where
What's
we're
the
just
longest
like...
break y'all ever taken? What's the longest break?
It hasn't been that long. I mean, we
Not
don't live in the
super
same state even, so I feel like we can go long periods without speaking and be fine. So I don't...
We talk every couple days at least. Maybe every day. Not like deep talk.
Yeah, but we have at least some type of communication, just kind of a check-in. And I do check her location settings.
Oh, yeah.
I
She's
can
a creeper. She does that to
I just want to make sure everybody's safe, you know? I need to know that y'all are okay.
So
and that y'all's location services are still on and nobody's trying to kill y'all or kidnap y'all.
How do y'all feel about each other's boyfriends right now?
How do we feel about each other's boyfriends right now?
That's never been a quiet subject. I've never had to take a drink on that.
Remember, Zerin's gonna be
Ever.
Oh God.
Layla. When I say I have never liked a man that she has gone out with, I am so sincere about that. There was one. I don't know if I should name names. There was one guy.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I liked him after they broke up. We became great friends.
Exactly.
Because he was a good person. I just didn't like him for her. Zerin, I have yet to form an opinion on. Because we've yet to meet in person. I haven't gotten a Facebook friend request. And I'm taking mental and digital notes.
I'll tell you what I think about Zerin. So, I like him for Mama Jordan. He seems like a nice guy, but, you know.
He does build her up, and he does, but I'm seeing all this from afar. I don't know him up close and personal. And, we'll find out. And I do appreciate that he's even gone out of his way, because like you said, we saw each other last August, and he went out of his way to make sure that I had what I needed. Like I was able to get around and transportation, stuff like that while I was gone. And I see the way that he lifts you up, so I like that about him. We just haven't talked. I've got a list of questions that I'm waiting to ask.
I've already asked them, guys.
Layla has grilled Zerin on FaceTime.
But I'm still waiting for the in-person meet. When is it gonna happen?
Questions
Now,
that need answers.
And I do appreciate that he's even gone out of his way, because like you said, we saw each other last August, and he went out of his way to make sure that I had what I needed. Like I was able to get around and transportation, stuff like that while I was gone. And I see the way that he lifts you up, so I like that about him. We just haven't talked. I've got a list of questions that I'm waiting to ask.
I've already asked them, guys.
Layla has grilled Zerin on FaceTime.
But I'm still waiting for the in-person meet. When is it gonna happen?
Questions
Now,
that need answers.
How do we feel about Dustin?
Dustin,
Johnston. Yeah, girl, I feel the same.
I appreciate that he's been through a lot with you. He has been through a lot with you.
me.
And
I guess.
I'll say, Dustin, he appears to love you unconditionally and love Layla unconditionally. And
Don't we tolerate him? We really do.
and because I am not like in the same city as you, so like when you guys are going through like huge things, I appreciate the fact that he is there
I
to
appreciate
always
Dustin too,
take care of business. Anytime I vent to you, I think, at least in the more recent years, I feel like back in the day, you'd be like, okay, let's go to his house and pop off.
I mean, there's still been a couple of times.
Back in the day, what was our favorite song back in the, I don't even know if we should say it on camera. Do you remember the song I'm talking about? Earl Had to Die?
Oh.
About the two best friends whose
killed
boyfriend.
one of the guys. Yeah,
That was our song back in the day. But now I feel like when I vent to you, I feel like you help me to see things from the right perspective.
I feel like before, when you were venting to me, we've known each other for a really long time. We were teenagers figuring out life together.
Mm-hmm.
And now, got a kid, a home, the family thing. So it's easier to see the value in what you have, opposed to, I'm a queen, you didn't treat me like you one time, move around.
Yeah.
You know? Let me.
Oh wait,
We didn't finish our shots.
Oh,
the least we could do
God.
is drink.
I love both of them so much, and I'm so glad that Mom and Mama Jordan are best friends. I'm so glad to have her in my life, and I love Mom. Mwah.
Love you all.
Of course.
Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I had so much fun. If I'm being perfectly honest, when Zerin suggested I do this episode, I was like, no, I'm good. But look where we are today. And I know he's somewhere in the comments or at home being like, I told you so. Just kidding. He's probably not like that. But maybe he is. It doesn't matter. But that's my life in a nutshell. I hope that something that you've seen, something that you've heard has left you feeling encouraged and just really motivated to be more of yourself, to free yourself in whatever context that means to you. As always, fight the power, find your power, use your power for good and not evil. Be well. Until next time.